I'm Jay Coker, Chairman of the Board of Producers Rice Mill. We've visited a number of times about the progression of the rice crop and where we are in the growing season and the development and the maturity. The rice where we're standing at today was planted about the 3rd to 4th week of March. That represents probably maybe 10 to 15, 20% of the Arkansas rice crop is at this growth stage. We talked back earlier in April that rice that was at that growth stage would probably be ready for harvest around the 2nd to 3rd week of August. So that is where we are now. That represents, like I said, about 20% of the crop is at this growth stage. And even though we had extremely wet weather, historic rainfall, flood events, things like that, we've had a cooler summer. I think overall in our average temperatures, we're still right at that growth stage and that expected harvest date with those fields of rice that were planted during that first period when the rice farmers really got started and planted a measurable portion of their acreage. The stage of development that this crop is currently in, we refer to this as the period when we talk about draining the rice crop. So we stopped irrigating this field maybe 1 to 2 weeks ago, let the soil dry up as best as it can, and any excess water that's out here that the crop didn't need, that didn't evaporate, we open up pipes, we drain anything. Typically we're in a situation where we can recapture that water. We use it in other rice crops or on later planted corn, soybeans. We try to use that water in other areas of the farm. At this point, a field that's at this growth stage, we've pretty well have done everything we can do from a crop protection standpoint as far as anything that would influence yield. That's all been taken care of at this point. So we're basically just waiting for the crop to dry down, to finish out its maturity, for the ground to dry up, to hold up the harvest equipment. A rice field in this stage, a farm at this time of year, to the outsider it looks peaceful, it looks calm, but in 10 to 14 days, there's going to be a lot of activity. There's going to be combines, there's going to be tractors, grain carts, there's going to be all sorts of equipment that helps move the grain out of the field into dryers and into storage facilities. There'll be trailer trucks, 18-wheelers lined up and down the roads going to town. Massive amounts of grain get harvested and handled in this part of the state of Arkansas this time of year. As this grain is harvested and is moved into Stuttgart, the staging lot at Producers Rice Mill will go from not being used at all for 9 or 10 months to being filled with 200 to 300 trucks a day that are staging and then waiting to get their harvest processed and dumped and emptied out and be able to head back to the farm.